We are live. It says live. Welcome, everyone. I'm Tom. This is Galen.
Hi.
Who can speak.
I can.
Galen speaks softly, but he can speak. We are attempting our second ever live stream from our new home in Minneapolis, which is an unthinkable sentence that will take a while to get used to saying. I mean, after a while, it won't be new anymore, so I guess that will take care of that. And currently, we're alone in the room because no one has joined the live stream yet. But for those of you watching from the future, we are here to entertain, inspire, enlighten, and, barring any of that, at the very least, sniff the new perfume oils that Black Phoenix Alchemy Lab released. That is an artistic collaboration with Girth of Venus. Girth of Venus should be like mystical chimes whenever that is said, right?
Since this is live, just imagine them.
If we were editing this video, we could have added the mystical chimes every time Girth of Venus is said.
Oh, there it is again. Can you hear it?
I feel like I can hear it. I'm gonna officially just like brainwash myself into hearing the mystical chimes. So you're gonna have to do that for yourself though, because going forward, if we say that every time, it'll get very tiresome. So recently with the major Lupercalia 2025 launch, I just can't believe that's real.
I know.
So I had been hoping to get an artistic collaboration launched with Girth of Venus, who is an artist based in the UK, Maz Hussein, who we've been following for a long time. I've been hoping to get this artistic collaboration of fragrances off the ground. And originally I had wanted to do just like a Lupercalia series, and then it just seemed like the artwork that Maz is creating, I think just, belongs all year round. But a lot of it's like very romantic, very sexual, homoerotic imagery of various male presenting figures in sort of mythological, archetypal, iconic scenarios. Lots of interesting gender play, just beautiful, beautiful stuff. As hopefully, I mean, if you're watching this now, you either maybe have already seen a lot of the artwork, or maybe you know Girth of Venus's work already, and that's how you stumbled into this to find out like what the heck is going on with the perfume oils. Like, what do they smell like? What are they? Why is any of this happening? So while that last question is perhaps too long the answer to that is too long to get into here, but we will happily admire, open, sniff, and skin test the 5 Girth of Venus perfume oils so that you will kind of be able to suss out the answers to some of those other questions. Does that work? That works for you. This is like kind of the first big Lupercalia sniff test video that we're attempting now. We've got our big crate of Lupercalia, and I'm trying to think if there's anything else I should say at the outset. So if you are new here, Black Phoenix specializes in oil-based fragrance. So these are 5 milliliters of pure oil, and you should not consume them, do anything weird with them. They're not club drugs. They won't get you high. Yeah, it's not a popper. Don't put it in your beehole. Just like be normal just this once for 5 minutes and enjoy a beautiful fragrance applied directly to the skin.
Be normal, just...
Why can't you be normal?
Just for 5 minutes. Stop putting things up here.
Babadook child screams.
Yeah.
So, yes. And also, I did, while we're filming this, go ahead and put the links to Girth of Venus's Instagram profile, Big Cartel store. They're on Blue Sky also, as are we. So follow there, especially if you like uncensored versions of artworks that are erotic in nature, because the prudish censors of Meta and, even the old YT really don't like those images to be shown. And one of these is actually censored on Instagram, but not on our website. So, if you want the full story, you got to go do some digging. You want to see the flesh, you got to, invest a little shoe leather. So I wish Maz has offered to send us prints, and if I had them, I would hold them up and we would showcase them here and probably lose our account. But for now, we'll resort to colorful descriptions, and we'll see where that gets us. Have I spieled appropriately?
I think so.
Here's where I will, you can, if you're listening, go and then later on check the comments to see if I frantically added anything that was missing from the conversation. So we'll just start
The very beginning.
at the very beginning, a very good place to start. And I'm going to go through these alphabetically in the order that they're included on our website, in our little store. I'm going to go ahead and read Maz's little statement here that we included in the intro that says, I merge my passions for mythology and fairy tale with visual arts to create a romantic representation I often never found growing up. My work centers around brown bodies and the sensuality and tenderness I wanted to see as a kid, as well as disjointing the aggressive fetishization of body hair into a place of sweetness. That's a really cool thing about a lot of these artworks, is that the figures tend to be like very hairy, and the artistic style is like really, it's all just like sweet curlicues and whatever.
A daintiness.
There is just like, it's... Because, a lot of these like mythic artworks and stuff, they're just like full Brazilian, nothing, no
Smooth
hair,
as marble.
no hair below like the eyelids.
Yeah.
So,
Did you see this thing about men trimming their eyelashes off?
to look less feminine.
I'm like,
If
that's
that,
crazy to me. I'm just sorry. I just saw this online this week. And
I
like,
didn't see
what
that.
is wrong with
But it
people?
doesn't surprise me because that one Jagoff did this thing this week of it was a Fox News thing where he had his like list of rules for men where you don't eat soup in public or drink from a straw because it causes you to purse your lips. Like, don't ever cross your legs. Like all these.
Wait, why can't you eat soup in public? Is
Because
that gay?
it's just not masculine. It's just like,
It's soup.
It's soup. I mean, Jezebel had a great article about it. It was just like, just eat the soup already, men. Like, get over
Wow.
yourself.
Stop
So
buzzing your eyelashes off and eat the goddamn soup.
So that is like kind of like the world that we live in real life. We don't live in that world.
I'm not.
I have never worried about my, well, first of all, I'm not that dainty of an eater, but my masculinity is not in question while eating. But like, what I love is a lot of queer people, we are like living our lives, doing our thing. Like we don't really, while you might be vigilant in a lot of ways in terms of how you're presenting or whatever, like the crazy rules related to like masculinity and femininity really do seem to belong to a fantasy world. And the real world is one where people can just like wear whatever they want and feel sexy doing whatever they want and just get down with yourself, eat the soup, drink the milkshake, like have your eyelashes or not, but like, it's truly up to you. So what I think is really interesting and challenging about... No.
We were so close to being like
To
ready.
smelling
and I
a
was like,
perfume.
hey, wait, why are men busting their
I
eyelashes
just like
off?
short out like when I hear stuff like that. But that's what I'm saying, like the fantasy world presented in the Girth of Venus artwork might actually be like a lot closer to the real life world of like sensuality and gender and sexual expression that like people really enjoy or feel like closely related to. And then you get out into like the sinister conservative nightmare world where people can't even have eyelashes, let alone cake for breakfast, which is where we will begin. And it's my effort at an artful transition back onto the topic. So, cake for breakfast. We have a lovely, which I won't show you, lovely artwork of a lovely mustachioed figure perched on like a breakfast table in silk stockings and gloves. and there's a full breakfast laid out here. And you know, I don't even know how to describe the artwork without actually triggering something here if I was being faithful about it. But let's just say that there is a strong, explicitly sexual element to it that rewards closer inspection. And the fragrance says peach silk, cherry fizz, pain au chocolat, and a cup of generously creamed black tea. Okay, Sherlock, you got everything you need to go get that taken care of. So, what I like about this series is that all 5 fragrances that we're starting with go in very different directions in terms of the scent type to kind of a little something for everyone. So this is just like fully gourmand except for the silk note, we'll say.
Wait, is cake part of?
No.
That's what's interesting.
There is not a cake note
component
listed because cake for breakfast is a double entendre. You know, we're not referring to literal. I mean, there is a literal cake in the image, but the cake for breakfast as a description of the artwork does not solely refer to literal cake.
Picking up an entendre here that seems to be double.
Yes, at least
My
double.
Goodness.
How far could it go? How many ways are there of saying or not saying something?
And yet it smells like cake.
Well,
the kind of like I'm, you know.
It's because of the chocolate croissant, we'll say. Because I'm definitely, okay, so out of it really has that like you walk into a fancy breakfast place smell, where you're smelling like the fruit smells, there's like the bread smells, there's the tea smells, and it's just like really, really lush.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, we've talked before about the fragrance. I forget which one it was that reminded us of the scene in Suspiria 2018 where
the cake,
where Mia Goth is having like coffee and dessert with Dr. Klemperer. Mm-hmm. And it's just like a weird, gorgeous little German cafe that looks like kind of nice and steamy inside, and it's like snowy outside. Mm-hmm. That's what this is. It's just perfect. I haven't even tried it on yet, but like there's just enough of that, like a flash of like the cherry and peach, but it's not overly fruity. Definitely getting that kind of like that buttery bread smell, which almost reminds me of like a pencil, like it's almost woody, because it's like the one thing in here, that and the tea like are not sweet. Mm-hmm. There's like the sweet element and the savory element, and they're kind of just all in a swirl together. It's not a really strong tea smell now, but it does smell like really light and creamy. Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna have to put some on the skin and see. We'll talk about silk, because some of those fabric notes are a little hard to trace sometimes, unless they're really booming. Did you get some on the skin?
Nope.
Okay, here, have a bottle. Cake for breakfast, if you're just tuning in. Oh, I generously creamed my whole hand. So, which is like, is that a 3rd layer of entendre? I don't know. I don't speak French.
Which level of entendre am I currently on?
There should be like a guide.
Steps are
a self-diagnosis guide for your current level of entendre. Like, how deep are you?
Yeah, I'm getting more of like the buttery croissant-ness on the skin.
I love that there is like access to the fruity sweetness, but it is not dominant. It just makes it kind of gay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was more apparent out of the bottle, I would say. Like, but now it kind of like, oops, taking a step back.
It's just kind of got like it's a little frilly, which I think I am getting like some of the silk going on, you know? It's like fancy tea party scent.
There is like a saltiness.
Yes, there is. I'm so glad you mentioned it. I could attribute that to the butter
Right, that's what I was thinking.
in the croissant. It's possible there's a saltiness related to like some kind of like scent note that's not listed, describing like the body or even like the sort of sexual component that I am not describing in case we're ever monetized. But there's like a certain like human body mystery happening with the saltiness. And it is like asserting itself on the skin as like a very creamy scent.
Mm-hmm.
So I wore this yesterday and I noticed that like 2 hours later, what I really noticed on the skin was the very thick, light cream note from that's left over at the end of like melon cream cake or the glowing vulva scent. That's what I was left with. Like the fruitiness kind of receded, the chocolatiness receded, and then I was left with just like the heavy cream and maybe like a little bit, like maybe the tea element further tamps down any remaining sweetness. But there is like a real morning after quality to this fragrance where it's like the figure is having breakfast perhaps alone, but has not been alone for very long. Or maybe because they're looking directly into the camera, the POV, like...
Is the camera someone?
Is the camera someone? Is this person alone and enjoying all of this? Or not? Because the facial expression is very kind of adoring. I love that the gloves are fingerless because this person has like really nice like large hands like I do that make like dainty, delicate, like elbow length ball gown gloves like impossible unless you like hack off the fingers and just go full, you know, grand high witch with it. I just rub this on my arms as if I was wearing the scent on my arms and I'm not, which I think is a good sign saying that I would like to have it all over me. Yeah, also cherry and peach can be really overwhelming scent notes. So if someone is like likes them in theory or has trouble with them if they're too strong, I would say this is a really good one because even if you amp those notes, it's not going to give you any trouble. Final analysis, cake for breakfast?
Salty.
Salty.
On me, it's just very salty. I don't know.
Where is it?
On my hand.
Here? Oh, on your hand. It does smell saltier on you.
Yours is a little fruitier, but like not.
That's to be expected.
Mine is just like weird salty butter.
I have no problem. I mean, it smells wonderful.
No, it really makes me want a croissant.
You smell like a fancy bitch. Well, speaking of fancy bitches...
There's like a nice warmth in there.
Yeah. Yes. There's like an overarching kind of theme to like these artworks in terms of just like a serenity and like a warmth and like, you know, like a bit of like whimsy and some less so, but we'll get there. Anyway, I like that this is like an area where we're gonna do more of these. There's like lots of room to expand. It was very, very hard to narrow down the choice to just like a small selection of artworks to do because we very easily could have picked like 5 completely different ones and started there. We're gonna go now to EROTES Valentine. This is the first one that we teased online when we were running late with the Lupercalia collection, and I wanted to let people know that there was cool stuff going on. And Girth of Venus had released this design as a t-shirt ahead of Valentine's Day, which I should have just gone ahead and ordered, but I didn't because we were getting ready to move. So you've just got like 3 Cupid-esque figures who are just arranged around a beautiful Valentine heart tableau. And what I think is really interesting is that the Cupid, the wings are like kind of sprouting lower on their body, like out of the kind of a hip area, which I find really fascinating. And I would love to see like a 3D model of how this actually works in flight. But it's just very beautiful. All right, and the scent description says, pink buttercream roses, wingbeats of pearly suede, and whorls of dark musk.
Ooh,
which of course...
I love a whorl.
I know, it's really clearly refers here to like the
Hair.
tousled hairstyles and like copious chest and body hair of the figures in question, there is a lot of whorl happening in this artwork. So let's get in it. Let's do it. I love a whorl. Whorl. Ah! What a swerve. Okay, so it's funny because I'm finally smelling the cake that was in the other artwork, first of all. It's just like a sequel, like it picked up where the other one left off, because that pink buttercream is just like unmistakable.
Yeah.
Really strong, like on the nose, and I'm getting the rose, like an actual rose. So right out of the bottle, that's like I think the first thing any casual sniffer would detect. If I'm
buttercream and roses, it smells very pink.
Yes.
It just
Oh
smells
yes.
pink.
There is, however, a darkness. You kind of have to hang out with it for a minute, because this is comparable, at least, you know, in the family of our pink fuzzy handcuffs, which we've re-released this year, which is like a cotton candy rose and like a pink fuzzy musk, you know? And something about the darker musk in this and the suede, like really takes this down a different path. I love the Lab's like dark musk note, and this has, I can tell it's like, just like a cauldron of it under the surface waiting to be discovered. So it turns out that no cake in our Lupercalia series this year is completely edible. Ugh. Wow. The rose is not like a super sweet rose. Like, if anything, it's kind of tempering the sweetness of the frosting. There's like a tartness in the rose that is like nicely balanced with that. Because I've, you know, some of like the full-on Cake-a-palooza fragrances are so sweet where it's like, if this was in front of me, I don't even know how much I could eat. So I like that the rose makes this like a little more mature. This is no child's birthday cake. Are you getting the suede?
Yes, I mean it's
It's
like, hard
delicate.
to describe what suede smells like, but there is like a sort of
A pale leather.
gritty.
It's again like, it's not like an edible.
Grittiness?
Yeah.
I had a weird hiccup also while I was trying to say that, so I was
Ouch.
like, I can't talk.
If you have the hiccups, it's a good moment to just sit and think.
This really does seem like the B-side to Pink Fuzzy Handcuffs.
Yeah.
Like there's a definite crossover, but there's like
Yeah.
different handcuffs.
Pink Fuzzy Handcuffs is the kinky sex that you have at like 7:30 p.m. EROTES Valentine is the kinky sex that you have at like 12:37 a.m. That's how because you know, the musk, by the way, that like now that it's like drying down, that dark musk is like, it reminds me of the dark musk duet you've been wearing, with the nutmeg and dark musk, right?
I've been wearing the caramel.
Caramel, that's what it is. Yeah.
Like the nutmeg one I have been wearing too, but the caramel one has been more.
This is like it's like there's like a real dark musky rose thing happening here, which is wonderful because it's about as masculine as it could be while remaining true to this artwork, which like what I think is really beautiful. Again, like these are like there's like a real beautiful erotic robust masculinity in these in the artwork, and yet it is also like soft, playful. It's just like a really beautiful merging of different qualities, and the scent really lives up to that by not going, you know, too soft, too sweet. There is almost like a kind of like an element of danger in it, and I think this is just like a really, if someone had better like rose fragrance, but I was gonna say this is like a beautiful like date night perfume, or like, you know, cruising, we'll call it. We need perfumes for cruisers. I think Girth of Venus will set you up nicely for that. It's funny too, yeah, going back to the one that we had tried on with Cake for Breakfast, like it suddenly seems much softer, much foodier.
Yeah, that changed.
You know?
I'm smelling the peach a lot more, actually.
Oh, good. Yeah, I get it too.
Something's changed.
Very gentle, like peaches and cream situation. Well, what changed is you smelled something like more,
Yeah, I did.
more intense and less gourmand.
Yeah,
Love.
I really love that.
Love it. Okay, let's keep trucking. And we'll get into Mars and Venus, which I have not skin tested this yet.
This is the only one I have tried on aside from these two, because I was really excited about it, and I tried it on a few days ago, and I was like, oh, beautiful, just exactly what I wanted.
Yeah. Okay, so Mars and Venus is a depiction of the gods in embrace, and they're both men. You've got, I don't feel like I'm writing the alt image description.
Just beautiful, like golden,
yes,
green tones, and it just.
I love that
luxurious.
The skin tones of the figures is like represented by the beautiful, like golden and dark surroundings. There's like a kind of a proscenium. It's like, it looks as if they might be like in a fancy bathhouse.
Like dainty little feet.
There's like dripping water and like beautiful curtains, and then a kind of like a malachite looking, or like swirly marble top piece. Just like gorgeous. The tones of this are so beautiful and blended and nuanced that it's like, I'm like, oh, this would make a beautiful tattoo, except for you'd have to completely rethink the color palette of it in order to make it work, because it's like got a beautiful darkness. So it says, a stolen moment preserved for eternity in a gleaming amber jewel, entombed in malachite swirls of oakmoss and velvet. So you got your amber, your oakmoss, your velvet.
Don't entomb me in malachite.
Oh, do it. And please, if you must entomb me, do it in malachite. Also, malachite is a softer stone, which is why you don't see it in jewelry as much. So if someone
so it's actually great.
entombs you in malachite, you can probably just like
comfortable.
chip out of there with your teeth or whatever. It should be fine.
Just like make a pillow out of it.
Well, it's not that soft.
Oh.
This is an amazing swerve.
I love this one so much. I love the velvet note.
It's okay. It reminds me a bit of the Black House that we made for the Victoria Elizabeth Black House, which is kind of a creepy leather lavender. But it's funny because this shares almost no notes with it.
Yeah, but I get what you mean.
It's like, it's dark and smooth and a little spicy. It has a freshness from the oak moss that really lends this kind of like masculine presence. But the whole thing is just so, like, if you're the kind of guy who trims your eyelashes, you're not gonna wear this. I don't care how masculine Mars looks in this, you know, you're just not. There's a real, like, definitely like bi-curious at least element to it. If not like extremely, extremely openly man-loving. So, it's just gorgeous. It's like much more kind of cologne-y than we have smelled in the other two so far. Thank you, oak moss. But the amber like really softens it. Where should we go? Do it right here. I miss this. We haven't done this in months. Just a nice long sit and smell and gab. Whoa, it's really strong. The oak moss has like a really impressive throw. Velvet can be like a little understated, I think, and wear it closer to the skin. And amber, I think of as kind of giving a sort of like a natural glow. But the oak moss just flies off the skin. It definitely smells like rich tapestries.
Yes.
It's got like an Eyes Wide Shut mansion party kind of smell to it.
Yes.
The lights are on, but they're low. People want you to see what's happening, but not too much. Ugh. This is incredible. If I got into like a Lyft or an Uber and the driver smelled like this, I would be like, take me immediately to your house.
Whoa.
I live there now.
He's like, it's just my car.
I'm sorry, it's just the last person who's in here. I'm like, I want their address.
I smell like burnt chicken. My car
I
smells
smell
nice.
like burnt chicken. I could love a man who occasionally smelled of burnt chicken if on a regular basis he smelled of this instead.
Okay.
I'm willing to forgive a lot.
I don't know why I said burnt chicken.
It was great.
Just like the first. I'm like, you don't really want to get in a car that smells like.
I got in a Lyft not long ago during a recent trip where it smelled like gay sex. Not in a scary, bad, unsanitary way, but like in the way that you just either, I guess, know or you don't. But I was like, it was morning. It was like
who has been in this Lyft?
8 a.m. And I was like, wait a second. This is like, and then I kind of like look at the driver and he's kind of like a middle-aged, and by that I guess I mean about my age guy, and he's wearing like gray sweat shorts. And I was like, okay, there's something was going on in here. And then I forget what was playing on the radio. I think Pink Pony Club came on the radio and he like didn't turn it off. And I was like, I didn't get to look at his eyelashes, unfortunately. Wow.
They're buzzed, but not completely all the way up. He just likes the uniform.
I just trim every other eyelash so that it's like some long, some short. Keep them guessing. There is like a beautiful kind of lush greenness coming into this that helps with the color palette. And then some of the amber really has some of those like golden brown tones. There's like Beth is doing her synesthesia thing here where she's truly interpreting an artwork through fragrance by her own internal metric.
Yeah.
But I would, if you lined these up blind test and you were like, okay, here are the artworks, here are the perfumes. Every single person would match that artwork to this perfume.
I think so.
I can't see a way around it. And it's just because of the way the colors, I think, creep into it. It's just beautiful. I could hang out with this all day. I'm so glad that I waited because the other night I had been wearing something really sweet and like, I think I was wearing the rose milk tea or something. And then I went to Segway and I was gonna try this on and it was just like too much in a different lane. But
I'm in a different Lyft even.
I'm in a whole different ride share app at this point. Grindr should start a ride share app. They should forget about the other thing, which they're not even that good at. And then just move on to getting people where they need to go. And if something happens, it happens.
Make a new friend or more.
Or more. Or just be ignored during your ride like you probably would have been anyway.
They pick you up and they're like, oh.
No.
Hi. Where are you going? And you're like, oh, you're kind of my type. And they're like, yeah.
No. I have never had like anything resembling an erotic encounter with anyone in a ride share situation because I truly believe this is the furthest thing from their minds.
Right.
And if it is, they're probably not going to last long on that service. Let's go headlong down another blind alley into the crimson. This was like looking through the artworks. I knew we had to include this. I had to set Beth up for this. You've got this sort of demonic figure, all red with horns and a tail, okay? In a kind of a lavishly decorated chamber with swags and curtains and cushions, etc. Heart-shaped box of apparently like dark peeled apple slices.
Oh, that's right.
And the figure is clutching in its elegant fingers a cigarette and an apple slice. And then, but the posing is just like completely presenting the hind quarters and descending appendages for full view. And it's just so great. It's so great actually that is the view that's on the label. It was very hard to
You're like,
capture.
how do I crop this?
I was trying to crop to get the face or like the whatever, but then so much black like came in from the background, and I'm like, the
What
perfume
about
is called the
apple
Crimson.
slices?
The apple slices, but it's
Are
not
they
that
even on
appley. They're not on the label.
They're actually not on the label.
So
you have
it
to
is
look at the full
actually fully just like the hindquarters. So a few years ago we did for Spiritus Arcanum a fragrance called, what was it, the
Something about kissing
Os-
the devil.
yeah, Osculum Infame,
Something like that, yeah.
which is like
sounds
inspired by the legends of witches having to kiss the devil's booty in order to, you know, as a show of what is it, loyalty, you know, to like join the coven or whatever. And this is actually, you know, what you would, I guess, hope if you were going to do that as a witch. The situation is, it's like you get it's like, looks like a nice place to be, it's nice and warm, you get an apple slice, let's rock. So it's just like a very sweet and beguiling pose, but extremely explicit. Lots of fun. And the fragrance says, burnished rosewood, clove cigarette smoke, oozing apple slices, and plum cashmere cushions fouled with trickles of labdanum. Classic. This is like classic B-Pal.
Labdanum leakage.
We've had, yes, we have, I'm sorry, we have a labdanum leakage. I am so intoxicated by this. Apple historically does not do a lot for me. In scent, I've struggled to find an apple that I like return to regularly. I wore this the other night when Ashton and I went to the queer roller skating night, and I could smell it all evening, and it continued to change, and I just fell in love with it. So in the bottle, it is probably more apple-y now than it will be ever again. But there is like a beautiful clovey, smoky undercurrent.
There is.
I'd say the woodiness of it is kind of a dark, restrained presence in the bottle.
Yeah.
The juicy aspects of it are just like much more present.
I'm not sure if rosewood is in the Fox Sisters perfume, but I know that there's apple in there, and that's kind of like what it makes me think a little bit of, but what the Fox Sisters makes me think of in general, and what this also makes me think of, is the smell of the Flamingo Hotel in Las Vegas, which has a kind of appley, sweet perfume in the casino part, mixed with all the cigarette smoke. So there, and that was like really satisfying, where I was like, oh, there's actually like the smoke component.
I would love it. I would love being in a casino that smelled like this specifically. I want this artwork and this fragrance to be a casino that I can go to and then just bounce around all night like Sonic in the casino level. I will say immediately upon the skin, it gets clovier, which is not a problem.
Very.
Like
And
immediately,
also,
clove cigarette. Like if you
that
like the
apple?
Thorns clothing clove cigarette perfume that we did, this is a beautiful like scenic route in a different direction, headed somewhere else. It's like a really distinctive clove cigarette note, but the apple of it is just like kind of makes it a little less forbidding. And here's where I'm starting to get some of the resinous labdanum note, and just like a bit like the rosewood is just kind of like a nice dark polish in the background, which kind of makes it like more elegant, I guess. It's like
I might actually have a new favorite now.
I know.
I don't have to pick just one.
No, you can wear whatever perfume you want.
I love how this is blending together, though.
Followed by whatever other perfume you want.
Like
on a loop forever.
The woodiness and the fruitiness and the
I know.
fabrickiness.
I know. There is more fabric in this.
And the smoke.
Than there is in the, initially was the peach silk, which was just like a frilly little accent. And here, it's like lush. And the fabric has been like collecting the juices and resins and smoke, you know, and there's like a proper like sex room reek happening. I think if somebody smelled this on me, they would possibly recognize the cloviness of it. It's like it's dark and mysterious, and they would say, "Ooh, that smells nice." The apple clove combo makes it approachable in a kind of a Halloween-y way, but it does not overall scream like Treat Bucket, like a lot of the weenier scents that we did. There's something like really adult about this.
Yeah. I've been watching Twin Peaks again, and it kind of reminds me of what I think One-Eyed Jacks would smell
Yes, I got a very
or
big...
like Blackie Rose's perfume, maybe. Like,
I was thinking that the other night because you have been watching Twin Peaks, and I was wearing this, and I was like, Roadhouse, One-Eyed Jacks, like bad things happening to innocent people.
Danger and beauty.
I know.
Why don't they go back to One-Eyed Jacks in the second season? Anyway, I just thought about that. It's like there's so much taking place in One-Eyed Jacks in the first season, and then they like don't mention it at all in the second season. Once Audrey is saved, you know, it's
gone.
Just like, who cares?
But it's in isn't it in the movie? Isn't it in Fire Walk with Me? Oh no, they know it's because she's at their cabin. They go to the cabin.
They go to the cabin. The cabin also kind of probably could smell like this.
Oh yeah, except for it's got like a bird in it.
Right.
That ruins everything. Note that there is not a bird in this artwork. There's no scent of a bird.
I really love this.
The cushions are befouled with trickles of labdanum and absolutely nothing to do with anything related to a bird. It really just smells like this, you know, figure in the artwork has just been rolling around in here for quite a while. It's just got like a real sense of like place. There's like a real drama and mystery to it. Really beautiful. And I will just say though that like for hours it will just continue to like do that thing and evolve. And there was a while there where I just definitely smelled like I had been smoking clove cigarettes. Did you get too much?
No, I swallowed and it went down the wrong tube.
It's that I blame that bird.
It's the bird.
Well, we have one left, and then we can pull this, you know, Jurassic Park
Plum cashmere
tour
rug
car over.
Oh.
Oh God, I just want to come back to it over and over again. It's just like spicy and sweet, and like there's an infernal. Well, if we must move on, and we must, then I'm glad that we are going to cruise home with the Pearl. I've lost a lot of, when we were in the development process of these, I was like, I wanted to do this artwork so badly. It's so beautiful. It's so Lupercalia. But I also wanted to like steer us away from doing an aquatic because those are challenging for a lot of people's like taste and scent. You're out there, the people who love the aquatics, but like, are you out there in proper numbers for a first-time perfume collaboration with a new artist who we're trying to like set up for success? Like, I wanted to just like lift us out of like the aquatic range for this and go with the theme, I guess, instead. So beautiful, lovely nude figure curled up, like elegantly asleep. Like this is how you would hope that you would look when you're curled up asleep instead of just like crashed out across like 2 airplane seats. Beautifully encapsulated in a pearl under the ocean in a giant shell. It's like Botticellian, except for could not be bothered to be born. You know, it's no Girth of Venus. It's like, no, I'm actually staying down here. I just love it so much. I honestly can't wait to get a print of this up in the house. A salt-encrusted cocoon overflowing with almond blossoms, sweet patchouli, and dried peony petals whipped into orris butter. See, we went into like the pearl and the shell and the figure and not like, it's not like, and the smell of plankton. You have dog hair, hold on. Pew.
I think it was over here and then
We'll just edit that out. We'll edit it later.
No one can see it.
No one's watching this long. It was the 44-minute mark of like a long video about like some gay stuff. I don't think so. Let's go to Pearl Town. The Pearl. It's so gentle and serene. Like in the bottle, it's definitely, there's like a beautiful salt that's, it gives like a sense of like skin salt, you know, like someone who has been sweating but is no longer sweating. And I guess it's because the combination of like the salt and the patchouli really give it like a warm living body scent. And then instead of drifting uncomfortably into a territory where it's like being able to smell somebody like crack on the bus, it's like more like the almond blossoms and the orris butter are there to take this into a fantasy direction where, you know, you would like definitely love to hang out for as long as possible. Just like really, let's just put it on. I can't. I've done what I can from the oil alone.
Your brain is melting.
And I said crack, so.
You did.
I'm gonna get more because at this point my nose is a little tired. Go for it.
Sorry about your nose.
I know. We haven't done this in so long.
My nose is tiny.
I wanted to start here because I know just to like, you know, give a boost since this is the artist collaboration we did for Lupercalia, and also because it's only 5 and it's a nice place to start. I love a sweet patchouli. I know you love a sweet patchouli.
Oh, the almond. I was like, what am I?
Yeah.
What is happening on my skin right now?
Yeah.
It's
the almond blossom. It takes it into a direction that you just like don't really expect, because it's like very lightly floral. You know, it's lightly almondy. We're not like in almond extract territory. It's something else. That's what I mean about there's like a living body in it that's like encapsulated in this like idea of the perfume.
Yeah.
There is like a lovely like brownness to it that matches like the skin tone in the illustration. But then there's that kind of like pearlescent like lightness of the shell and the pearl itself.
Yeah. Swirly and dreamy. And...
Like a kind of a salt breeze without really going aquatic or like really mineralic.
Right.
Just like if you know, like a pirate smell, but it's like a really gentle gay pirate who probably wouldn't kill anyone. It's like animal noise from outside. What the hell is that? I don't know what that was.
People talking? No.
It's not
Dogs talking.
So nice to hear a dog barking that's not ours. This is like just really quiet and
getting more of the
peaceful.
peony.
I think that this would be like, this is like a relaxing like evening blend, like a I'm staying in or going to bed blend, or maybe, you know, like someone might come over, but it gives that like in for the evening vibe. Someone could come out themselves and join me, but I'm in for the evening.
Not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere. I'm in my pearl. It's getting a little darker. Like as I smell it, I feel like the patchouli is deepening a little bit. The peony blossoms, what I think what's interesting about that is between the almond blossom and then the peony petals, like I'm having like, there is just like a vaguely floral, almost herbal aspect to it. But it's not like flowers.
No.
I would say it's almost like a dried, like an herbal tea smell, you know?
Yeah.
That version of flowers. So, oh wow, this is peachy around me now. But again, like, I mean, I guess we haven't been in anywhere gourmand for a minute, really.
And the cherry fizz.
Fascinating. And the cream, like warm, thick cream back at the cake for breakfast.
Completely different than it did when I first.
I mean, again, though, your nose has been like pushed into different directions.
It has. So it's been pushed.
You've been
too
pushed.
far.
I'm definitely going back to EROTES Valentine. I'm getting leather. The rose has cooled its jets, and it's just like more of like a suede musk situation. Fascinating. I'm trying to like retrace my steps. I don't know where anything is. Oh my God. Mars and Venus just still smells like I could cry a little. It just smells exactly like it did when I put it on, which to be fair was not very long ago. What a just incredible like journey in 5 steps.
Yeah.
What I can say. So Girth of Venus has a big cartel shop. We've put the link in the caption where you can go and look at prints. You can see things in greater detail. You can see all of these illustrations in full detail on our web store with the individual scents. We are gonna hopefully add more scents to this collection, maybe this summer when things have cooled down a little at the lab. Hopefully soon. But in the meantime, it's just exciting to have gotten a new artist collaboration launched and out there that is just so very gay. And just so many interesting expressions of like eros in all forms. So I really hope people are enjoying these. I have been watching reviews come in on the bpal.org forum to see, because I didn't have them yet, and I was like, what's the deal? What are people saying? So that's cool. I want to read more of those. But like, if you have them and you want to tell people about them, or if they're, if you want to say something about BPAL that folks should know if they're ordering from us, because I bet a lot of Maz's folks don't know about us. They're probably excited about the idea of a perfume collaboration, but all the BPAL stuff is new to them. So this is your opportunity to go and shine and share your impressions or help set people's expectations. I will appreciate that because we can't be everywhere. So we did 51 minutes. And I'm inclined to hop us out of here so that we can get out clean, and we'll start next week with some more Lupers. Maybe the veils, maybe the lipsticks. We're gonna get into it. And as of right now, the double lunacy for February and March has launched. So that sounds like code words. Like if you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. We're gonna be done now. But if you do know what that means and you didn't see it elsewhere, go look. So thank you for coming to our Girth of Venus live sniff. Someone says, what time? I do not know what exactly that is referring to. But if you mean, what time are we gonna be live streaming? We're gonna be doing probably late mornings, but we don't know exactly which days yet because we just moved here and we're getting in just like one day at a time.
They might have meant the lunacy.
If it's lunacy, it's up, it's live, it's there, it's done. You can go look on our shop right now. And
now's the time.
Now is the time. Or if you're watching this in the future, then was the time, but probably still now, if it's within 3 months. And then if it's later than 3 months from now, it's over, you missed it. I'm so sorry, but you can go read about it. Your face is everyone's.
Then is now.
Then is now.
Now is then.
Pacific live. Let's see, if we do a 10:30 or at 11 a.m. stream from Minneapolis, then Pacific, that is 8:30 or 9, because we are 2 hours ahead of Pacific now and 1 hour behind Eastern. And then beyond there, we haven't been here long enough for me to know. So hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, maybe we'll try on Monday. We'll have had a couple of days off, so that won't seem that crazy.
We'll be back.
We'll be back.
But now we have to go.
Thank you so much. It's great seeing you and being seen. Enjoy your smells. Talk to you later. Bye.